So I have this idea that a lot of you might be confused with your CPMs. Now, I've recently learned, like, and going through, like, because I've went through this, of really understanding what the CPM actually means, and for you to understand the fundamental, because again, it's all about the fundamentals. You know me. If my name is not attached to fundamental, it ain't mine. Okay? So I want you to really understand the CPMs, because I think this will allow you to make better business decisions. And if you make better business decisions, guess what? You make more money. Okay? So a lot of people have this idea like CPMs are saturated or CPMs are so high, I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. First and foremost, you can't really directly control your CPMs compared to other metrics like CTR, CPCs, blah, blah, blah. Well, even CPCs, it's going to go according to CPM, but like maybe CTR, hook rate, all the other stuff that you really have direct control over on how you make your ads. But with CPMs, it's basically understanding the algorithm of Facebook and how it works for you to then try to manipulate it as much as possible. Now, first and foremost, again, there will be times where you test a product. It may be in a saturated market or whatever. I'm going to explain that idea, how it's all wrong. But your CPMs might be high. And first and foremost, before I even get to this, you have to increase and maximize your CVR, which is your conversion rate, and your AOV. With your CVR and your AOV increasing as well, you can withstand higher CPMs. Therefore, your CPMs can be 100 plus, 200 plus, and you'll still be profitable. That is actually the brand that I'm running right now. We're doing really well. We have high CPMs, over $100 every single day, but we're still reaching over 1K day in sales with profitable margins. Why? Because our CVR and AOV is really, really high. We converted it. We made this funnel as good as possible. But that's step one. Like, you should be looking at that first. You should really try to build up your CVR and AOV, because no matter what your CPMs are, you'll still be profitable, allowing you to be stress-free and make better decisions, right? But increasing your CVR and AOV would be another video. That is another conversation to have. But I wanted to talk about the CPMs, right? And I brought this math example. So hopefully you guys can understand it, because a lot of people think more saturated, meaning like a broader audience or broader niche, is going to automatically have higher CPMs, which, let me tell you right now, that is the false case. Okay. So it's not about how many people there are. It's about this idea of ratio that I kind of like just realized. Like, it made me actually think. I was actually having like a late night thought, and it came up, right? So I don't ask why I'm having late night thoughts of CPMs. Like, yeah, I'm that embedded in ecom right now. But basically, so think about it where it's this ratio. So you have potential customers, and then the ads going to those customers. So actually, it's not even about the market itself. You can be in a very saturated market like the beauty niche, right? It's all about the angle, what your ads are targeting to people. So for an example, you could be in the beauty niche selling some like eyebrow serum, right? But maybe your ad talks about it's only for Asian women in US 50 plus who want this eyebrow serum because of low confidence. Maybe those old white Asians don't have low confidence, so there's very few people that actually deal with that, maybe creating a high CPM. You see, so it's all about the audience, right? It's all about, your angle, sorry. It's not about the market itself. Now, obviously the market does have a factor, but the bigger leverages on CPMs are the angle your ad is targeting towards them, okay? So like, your potential customer, let's say the angle is confidence, right? So it would be, this example would bring up ads talking about confidence, revolving your product, obviously, to potential customers that are in low confidence, low self-esteem, right? Like that would be the better example, okay? Not the market itself. It's not about the beauty or parent niche, kid niche. Like that's not the idea, okay? And this example I bring here is to show how it doesn't matter about this idea, how we think this is a less niched, bro, what the fuck? A less competitive, let's say, angle. Because, for an example, market A, or angle A, sorry, I'm going to say angle, it's angle. Angle A has only 10,000 potential customers, right? But there are only 10 ads going to the 10,000 customers, right? So overall, like you would skim through ads, Facebook ads library, try to, look at how many people are competing in this angle, and you would think, oh shit, this is a less saturated angle. So I'm going to go test it. And then you end up with $100 CPMs and you're like, what the fuck, right? But look about it as at the ratio. So there are 10,000 potential customers with 10 ads. That means that's a 10-to-1 ratio. So for every 10 customers, there's one ad going. Or it can be for every, what's the math? Am I being burned right now? For every 1,000 customers, there's 100 ads going. Right? Am I tripping? Anyways, so it's the ratio. It's basically 10-to-1. It's a 10-to-1. Okay. And with this 10-to-1, that means you're gonna have $100 CPMs because that ratio is bigger. It's a bigger ratio, right? I think I'm explaining this properly. I'm still trying to figure it out, kind of how to explain it properly. But then you have angle B, right, which is 1 million potential customers. So you have 1 million potential customers. So it's like, damn, that's a big ass market. That's like, people would be like, oh my god, that's a saturated market because it's a big audience, blah blah blah. But you only have 5,000 ads going to this 1 million customer. You do the ratio, that's a 200-to-1. That would end up in the result of a lower CPM because the ratio of the amount of ads for this angle targeting the people is less. 200-to-1 is a way smaller number than 10-to-1, right? So you would understand that it's not actually about the market. It's not about how big it is, how many competitors there are. It's actually both. It's how big's the market compared to how many advertisers or ads going to this market. It's this idea of the ratio, okay? Because I had some ideas or questions where people would ask like, okay, I have high CPMs. Should I go more broad? Should I go broader or more niche? That's not really the question you should be answering because it technically doesn't matter. And the idea is that we'll never know. I'll never know exactly there's 1 million people in this. There's 1 million potential customers. I would never know that. Only Facebook knows that. That's why they're the one that give the results of the CPMs, right? But I'll never know if there's 1 million potential customers and if there's 5,000 ads going towards these customers. I would never know. Honestly, the only answer is to test. That is your only final answer. Like you just have to test. That's just part of the fucking game of running paid ads. You just have to kind of test and see for yourself. The market has the final say. The market is what's going to evaluate the CPM. You're going to get the CPMs nonetheless. Now, your CPMs are going to fluctuate daily. Usually, your CPMs are going to be higher when you first start because there's a lot that goes into CPMs. Understanding CPMs is an algorithm thing. We don't know the algorithm, and it will we'll never be able to fully control it. Comparing it to, let's say, the CTR. But what you could do is understand what CPM is, like one of the biggest leverages of what dictates a CPM. Yes, CPMs are higher maybe for newer accounts compared to older ad accounts, or ad accounts located in North America to fucking South Korea. I don't know. There are so many leverages that go into CPMs, but this idea is what's going to help you maybe understand a bit better and make better business decisions. Because this idea of the ratio is more or less the bigger aspect of what Facebook dictates a CPM. But then, like I said, there goes more into it. But this is what's really going to help you make the decision. So what's the final verdict? Well, technically, it's just understanding. Just test. But now you understand, though, more or less, that it's not about broader, bigger, smaller. It's about this idea of ratio. And you basically, the CPM, the best way to also explain CPM is what Facebook likes. Facebook's going to reward you. Facebook's algorithm is going to reward you for a better. So if you have a better ad compared to a shittier ad, your better ad will have less CPMs. Like, there's a lot of factors, a lot. So it's pointless for me to go over all of them. I don't even know all of them. But this is like a idea that I have now in my head of understanding the fundamental of a CPM and what it actually means overall. And it's helped me make a lot of better business decisions on making this angle, making that angle. And that's it. But the only thing you can do, since you can't fully control your CPMs, going back, COV and AOV, CVR and AOV. Increase those, and no matter what your fucking CPMs are, you'll thrive. And understanding your CPMs actually dictate a warmer audience. Guess what? So because this audience, this market, is seeing more ads, they're seeing more ads, even though it's smaller, right? They're seeing more ads. Each person, each potential customer is seeing more ads. That means they're more warmed up. They're more ready to buy because they've already been given all the information from other brands or whatever it is, and they're just like on the verge of buying, and you just have to convince them you're the better one. They're actually warmer. So that means, no joke, higher CPMs could be seen as a good thing. That means it's an audience that's ready to buy, more ready to buy than compared to this one. So this takes less convincing, less people going from unaware to most aware to buy the product, right? It actually is more warmed up audience. So that means if you increase your CVR and AOV, you'll actually probably make more money with $100 CPM. That's why focusing on what you can control, increasing your CVR and AOV is going to be the biggest factor, because you are now increasing your funnel, right? You're making it more engaging. You're making it where, you're convincing people to buy more, plus you're having a higher AOV. You're now going to bring all your funnel, your very optimized funnel, to a warmer audience. You're actually going to convert way better with $100 CPM. It's a warmer audience. So that's why CPM is very complex, but at least now you know like the fundamental, and you can go about it moving forward in a better fashion. So thank you for watching. I think this really cleared up. Hopefully I cleared it pretty good, explained it pretty good. If not, let me know. Put some questions down below. Thank you for watching. As always, of course, I'll see you at the fucking top.